Welcome to Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Let's jump first into the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin right now is down 2.75% as we record the show. Of course, we had a huge down week last week, and things are still, again, the candle opened, of course, where it has. It's a spinning top right now, pretty much encapsulated within that prior candle. Again, gave us the ability to redraw another trend line. We will continue to watch. If it goes green and there's lots of volume there, that could maybe show us an interim low. But at this point, we're still looking at all this downward momentum. Now, we look at the two-day charts, and they've been indecision. That second one, that would be the Saturday-Sunday one, trying to move up. And again, don't forget, this is the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. It is sitting right there, just trying to push through that weekly trend line. We see the 195-minute chart now dipping back below it. That started in the morning on Wednesday. So we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin. Still lots of downward pressure. Same with Ethereum. It's down right now on the 24-hour-a-day chart, 1.27%. As we've seen it trying to build slowly on the two-day chart. Can't get above that weekly trend line. We got a red down candle. Again, like Bitcoin, it's within that prior down candle, including the wick. Again, this green, I like to remind people of that. The green volume only means that it opened higher than the prior close. That's all that means, but that is good to know. And we see where the 195-minute chart moved up to the weekly trend line and then bounced off. Now, let's look at where we are. This is an ETF. This is Bitwise. It's the top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share. I explain that every week, Bitcoin being the big dog. And since Bitcoin had that big week down, of course, it pulled this entire chart with it. Next to Bitcoin, far down the line is Ethereum. And then the other top 8 cryptocurrencies. We can see a down move here. It has pushed through the weekly trend line on the two-day chart, and on the 195-minute chart, ticking up, was down today. Overall, down 1.46% for the day on Wednesday. So again, lots of downward pressure across the board on our cryptocurrency market, particularly with the two big players, Bitcoin and Ethereum. That is where we are there. Let's move on to some commodities. We've been tracking corn for a while. It is up a little bit for the day, 0.71%, but we can see, still everything is below that weekly trend line, which has gone lower. We do see volume not telling us all that much on any of these charts, as corn peaked back in May and has really been rolling down since then. Copper used a lot of business processes. It's down for the day 0.5%. And of course, it's been going down for several weeks. Peaked all the way back in mid-May and then down, popped up a little bit in early June and then rolled back over. Silver down for the day 1.14%. And of course, the interim high in silver that week, July the 8th. Then, of course, our classic red spinning top. Only thing, we didn't have volume confirm the interim peak. We did have it confirm the peak back in May, but, it went down, then popped back up, then rolled over. But just looking at the candles, of course, that is a beautiful little turnaround on silver. We'll keep an eye on things. See if the volume, if this, this last week we had average volume with the most recent interim low. This week turned into a green spinning top, and we had higher than average or average volume. Might note a turnaround for us. We're not seeing that. What do we see on the U.S. gasoline fund? After 4 weeks of down moves, we do have a green spinning top. Don't really have a lot in the way of volume confirming that for us, but we'll keep our eye on things as they continue to move. Now again, still in the energy space, looking at nat gas. Nat gas trying to turn around. We had a red spinning top last week with that interim low. The week before, let's see what the low was that week before. The low was 1271, 1258. So the low was last week with average volume. This week we could be having a turnaround. We'll keep an eye on that volume there. Might trigger for us a turnaround in gas moving up. Keep your eye on that if you're interested in energy. And of course, as we look at the U.S. oil fund, most recently peaked back at the beginning of July, slid sideways, had a nice rotation over going down for 4 weeks and is now popping up. Interim low was last week. We're almost up to average volume already. Not super excited about a green candle. Much rather have something like a green spinning top to note a rollover because it's safer. But we may be rolling over, seeing energy move up. We'll move on to currencies. First thing we'll take a look at is the British pound, down a little bit for the day, but we can see the 2-day chart. We can see where it has been moving up over the last 4 days. We've got a green spinning top right now. Lots of volume last week, not a lot of volume this week, confirming a turnaround. So maybe things could change in 2 days. You're going to have to make up a hell of a lot of volume for that, but we will keep our eye on it. What about the euro? Well, the euro, again, nice up movement so far this week. We had the euro pop up 3 weeks, sliding sideways 2 weeks, and then these last 2 weeks heading up for the day a little bit, 0.18%. Really up in the morning, lost that in the afternoon, has stayed above over the last several days. We can see it on the weekly, we can see the weekly trend line where the 2-day chart stayed above it, and the half day has for 8 days now. And we'll continue to keep our eye on the euro. Really don't have a trade there in the last many weeks, but we'll continue to watch it and see if and when it starts to roll over hard. It will at some point, but maybe it'll give us a trigger. As we look at the yen, of course, because of the Bank of Japan making changes, finally upping their interest rates, the yen just boomed. They've shaved off that boom quite a bit this week. Of course, when it turned around and accelerated. Well, of course, the bankers have stopped that for the time being, down for the day 0.37%. Doji on the 2-day chart as they're trying to kill the rise in the yen for the Japanese economy. We'll continue to watch, see if they're successful in rotating it over. The yen carry trade off for now. We so appreciate you being with us. Of course, this is released early to our Patreon members and then released on Friday for everyone. We always like to look at sort of these different views of commodities, currencies, and cryptocurrencies, just for fun to look at some different stuff. Hope that you follow them. Any of these are exciting and interesting to you. Don't hesitate to practice trade them. Use the rules we establish for trading. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.